After 20 years of running Red Bull Racing Team, Christian Horner has finally lost a big fight inside the team. The boss of the Austrian racing team got fired right away, and everyone already knows where he wants to go next. Horner wants to get a job at Ferrari because that team really needs someone to fix their problems. But will this be enough for the Ferrari bosses to change their mind about their current team leader? And what's even more important, is Red Bull going to start all over again? The Formula One world went crazy when they heard that Christian Horner got fired from Red Bull right away. And this news is making all the other team bosses totally confused. Obviously, there was a huge fight going on inside the Austrian team. And even though Horner seemed like he was winning the fight, the Verstappen and Marko group might have gotten the last laugh, with Laurent Mekies, who runs the Racing Bulls team, taking over Horner's job. The biggest question everyone wants answered now is what will happen to Horner next. Let's look at a team that's having big problems getting used to their current leader, Ferrari. We know for sure that they called Horner not too long ago, and the British guy's answer was very clear. I don't know how to speak Italian, and I'm not going to leave Red Bull. Well, technically, this was true. He doesn't know Italian, and he didn't leave Red Bull. The team got rid of him instead. So, all the stories we've been hearing about Horner are now falling apart, and it's time for a new chapter. Ferrari has been struggling to get good results week after week, and from a team that everyone expected to fight at the front with McLaren, they've become just an okay team. Yes, they've gotten some podium finishes here and there, and Hamilton almost got one at Silverstone too. But getting beaten by Hülkenberg twice, just because his car was faster in 2025, is just no bit good enough. The Ferrari bosses said they wanted to keep trusting their current leader at least until 2026. But now that Horner is available, I don't think they'll think twice before offering him lots of money. And the reason for this is pretty simple. Can you ignore the amazing things that Horner did for Red Bull all these years? 4 championships with Vettel, a terrible time with Renault that turned into another success story with Honda. And let's not forget last year and Verstappen's championship. The Dutch driver won with the 3rd fastest car, something that hasn't happened since 1982 and 1983. We know who was the team boss back then, but Red Bull just wasn't the right place for Horner anymore. Ever since the big drama that involved Jos Verstappen and Helmut Marko, with the father of the 4-time world champion going public and criticizing Horner, we knew something bad would happen to Christian. Another very big reason why Horner would want to join another team right away is because of why he and Red Bull broke up. According to Martin Brundle, the team owners didn't give any clear explanation about why he won't continue in his job and got stripped of all his duties. Talking more about this, Brundle said, "It's completely shocking given everything that's happening and the problems in the team. Things we're hearing from Team Verstappen and others. I'm quite sad about it, to be honest. I think of Christian as a friend, and he's done an incredible job there for 20 years. But it hasn't been hard to feel in the Formula One area, and to see and hear things that weren't very good." According to Verstappen's group, they had no idea that Horner was leaving. An official statement said, "We were told about this decision by Red Bull management ahead of time. It's up to Red Bull to explain why they did this. We keep focusing on the racing side and are looking for better performance or mans so we can get back to the top. In that way, nothing changes. Did Red Bull suddenly stop believing in him and that he could fix things? It could be. But let's not forget the bigger picture here. Max Verstappen, the 4-time world champion, kept saying that he doesn't want to talk about his future at Red Bull, hinting that it's already decided. But after Horner got fired, I don't think this will be true anymore. Let's also not forget what Horner survived in the last couple of years. He watched Adrian Newey leave the team, followed by Jonathan Wheatley and Will Courtney. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention Rob Marshall, the man who's responsible for where McLaren is right now. All of these people leaving had no effect on Horner's job at all. But when Max's future became a huge question mark, the team owners suddenly decided to take action themselves. It could very well be that they talked with Max, Jos, and Helmut Marko, and they decided that Horner just isn't the right man for this job. This is something that Jos has been warned about for a long time now. And when talking about it, the father of the four-time world champion said, "There is tension here while Horner stays in this job. The team is in danger of falling apart. It can't keep going the way it is. It will explode." He's acting like the victim when he's the one causing the problems. But at the end of the day, it's really a new chance for Horner. And I don't see how Ferrari won't turn their attention to the British guy. Just look at what he's accomplished. 8 championships in the drivers' category and 6 in the constructors. How do you beat that as a team boss? He was also the person who did this job the longest, with Wolff being very close behind. And even though Ferrari wants to invest in their own people and promote from within, I really doubt that they'll have a better choice than Horner. Yes, certain talks will have to happen, and certain bad moments would have to be forgotten from Horner and Red Bull's time together. But given that this is a new chance and environment for Horner, I don't think this will be a problem. So we've already figured out that Horner is going to move to Ferrari, or at least he's going to try really hard to do so. What we have no idea about is what would happen with Verstappen, and how the four-time world champion affected this whole situation. There are 2 possible stories. The first one is that Max has already left for Mercedes. Everybody inside Red Bull knows that, so they decided to get rid of Horner, because if they're starting over, they might as well do it completely. You don't want to see the same mistakes happening to Lawson, Hajar, or any other young driver who's going to be promoted to Red Bull if Max isn't there. And I guess everything starts from the team boss. Let's not forget what kind of leader Horner was for Red Bull. Through good times and bad times, he never gave up on his drivers, and he even supported the struggling ones until they found their confidence. But even more importantly, Horner was always pushing for perfect strategy execution, which is something that Ferrari desperately needs. On the other hand, you could say that Max gave Red Bull an ultimatum. Things are not going the way they should, and if Horner stays as the team boss, then I'm leaving. Interestingly, these things are happening right before the summer break, when we're expecting to hear tons of news about the future of Max and Russell. But nothing suggested that Horner was going to lose his job, which makes everything 1,000 times more interesting to watch. Now, if Red Bull are going to lose both Horner and Max, they could be heading into a deep rebuilding phase. And I don't think they'd make it past the middle teams once the new rules start without Max. But it makes more sense that Max Verstappen would want to stay and fix the problems that were caused by Horner's leadership. Could you blame him for wanting Christian out of the picture? The results aren't there, the car improvements aren't working, and the technical team is just out of ideas about what could be done better. So, I'd say that Max has every right to demand changes. The man knows how valuable he is, and nobody should question it for a second. And if Horner was fired because of what Max said, then it's a clear sign of who is the #1 leader in the team. Then again, we know for sure that Mercedes really wants Verstappen. And although the board of directors were the ones that needed to approve the move, news is coming from Ola Kalenius, the CEO of Mercedes, who said that the team has gotten the green light to chase Verstappen. This comes right before Horner got fired. So there's a third story that Red Bull might have had in their heads. What if we fire Horner, just to prove to Max that we're willing to do anything to keep him with us? It's likely going to backfire because Max doesn't want to race for a team that's desperate to do anything just to have him drive for them. Either way, we could be looking at Horner leading both Leclerc and Hamilton at Ferrari. And I don't think it's going to be a bad decision. We've seen how Red Bull performed amazingly well with strategy under his command. That's exactly what Ferrari is now looking to do if they want to start winning championships soon. Because at the end of the day, it does. It really seem like the drivers are the problem. With all of this in mind, what do you think about Horner's possible move to Ferrari? And more importantly, Where do you think Horner will end up from 2026 onwards? Let us know in the comments below. And once you do that, make sure to click on the video that's appearing on your screen right now.